the Hellborn side, that Mirax and then Keeper of the Force on top of that. I mean, yeah, it's just very interesting bans here from Impunity, and it kind of makes you wonder. Again, is this the case maybe of FiT running some Miraxes and even Keeper of the Force recently, and just Impunity doing their research? Or is it Impunity, maybe just banning heroes that they're just not simply a fan of going up against? Those are some of many questions that I'm sure are going to help be answered throughout these next couple of matches here, at least as far as Impunity is concerned. But yeah, interesting start. Draconis locked first by Impunity, and then Glacius Fade to follow. So Draconis apparently has made it over there on the Southeast Asian scene.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It feels like it's one of those heroes that they would like for some reason. I don't know why. I can't really put my finger on it, but it's just like one of those heroes that they would like. Same with Monkey King. It's just like one of those heroes that they would like. But anyway, yeah, he does get locked first. Glacius and Fade from Panny. Very, very strong right there. I know that FiT loves to run Fade, so that's strong as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure the Southeast Asian teams also like to run Fade, mostly as a support. So, and then locked Bubbles there coming out from Lady Ricardo. I know that the Southeast Asians love their Bubbles play, along with Play Better. So yeah, pretty standard pretty standard locks so far, except for that first lock from Draconis, a little interesting. But as we saw from Clan Milk and Cookies, that hero is not a hero to be laughed at.
Yeah, that just happened yesterday again. I still can't get over that. I mean, Clan Milk dominating Fnatic Raid Call 2-0. First game using Draconis, and then the second game Monkey King, of course. So, man, what a series that was. Definitely check out the VODs, which are on our YouTube channel now, youtube.com/HonCast. You can check out the VODs as well as all the VODs from this event if you are wondering where to check those out. But Rampage, the final lock here from FiT. And, again, I think that's more along the lines of one of those troll bans, but I don't know. That's what makes lockpick so great at the same time. You never really know. Maybe that's something that FiT feels comfortable. Maybe they ran with that recently, and it's worked out. They have a strategy in mind. So Panny did make the point that they have some strategies in mind. They think they know what Impunity is going to do. Maybe it involves them running a Rampage. I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah, very interesting. I think the hero is very good. As long as you have some decent point stunts on your team, like Fade is one of them. Glacius would be another great example. But yeah, he's an okay hero. He doesn't have a lot of counter push or pushing power, but he definitely is very, very aggressive. And now the banning phase has begun. Tempest and Jeraziah coming out from Legion. So actually some quite standard bans if you compare them to the international scene. So
yeah.
And then Panny going ahead and banning Pebbles Ophelia so far. Nothing too stand out so far.
Yeah. Yeah, other than, of course, the Rampage, but yeah, well, the blind ban, how that started off. But yeah, the blinds, the bans, excuse me, now finishing off here. One more for either side. While we're waiting for that, is actually Parasite going to happen right there. So the final one coming up from FiT. DreamHoN Space Party in game, the chat channel. Join it, guys. Talk about the game at hand here on the HonCast every single day. Xander K, our S2 Games Community Manager, he's leading the way with that and asking questions constantly. You have a chance to win gold coins and a lot of prizes. So definitely just hit up that channel, DreamHoN Space Party, to talk about some competitive heroes in New Earth. It's definitely, and the reason why I just keep bringing that up every single day is because it is just an awesome idea, and I know there are people out there that, trying to find some places just to talk about the game that we all love here. So, anyways, Aluna going to be the final ban here from FiT. So again, as you said, really this phase, the banning phase at least, very, very powerful. A lot of heroes taken out right there, but you see the right click there. Silhouette, Mage Bane, and Dark Lady all left open here, so that could be turn out to be interesting now.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I've said it time and time again, the Southeast Asians love their Polywog, and he gets first pick right there. But you're right, and I actually think that's a good pick when you have all three of those hard carries open, because you don't need to be in a rush to pick one when they're all available. You know what I mean? So they're all there. They're going to be there. You're going to be able to get one of them if you wish. So the smarter pick, I think, is to pick Polywog, and I agree with that. Nymphora picked up by Panny. I forgot. Panny and crew love their Nymphora. They pick him pretty much anytime they can, and he pretty much snap picked it right there, and now he's thinking about his other pick to go along with it. So Nymphora. Also to think about if they decide to pick up that Fade there that's locked, that's a very, very brutal combo. It's almost as good, if not in some situations better than Nymphora Pebbles, because you get that extra vision from Fade's ultimate. And then they go with the Wretched Hag, so very, very solid, decent picks coming out from FiT.
Yeah, and Amphora, again, just one of those prime heroes, but you're right, Panny especially loves to run Amphora whenever he gets the chance to. So, and yeah, if they compare it with that Fade, you know, it is a very, very deadly combination. So we'll see how that turns out in the lock-picking stage, but still yet to get there, of course, as the captain's pick for the regular picking stage, now continuing for Impunity. So you mentioned the Poliwag Priest, especially in that Southeast Asian scene, just seems to be such a powerful and popular hero, and bringing up the good points as well. They're in no rush by any means to get those carries, but on that note as well, again, Draconis, they're the ones that first locked Draconis, so you would think that, or there's a good chance that they could go with Draconis as that first pick from the locking pool to get that carry out there. So maybe they're just going to simply pass up all these carries in that Silhouette, Mage Bane, and Dark Lady trio, as we like to keep stressing all the time here in these competitive matches. And sure enough, we see Witch Slayer right there to follow, and the final pick, 10 seconds left to go here for Impunity. We'll see how they finish off. If it is going to be that support, more of a carry style, it's going to be Emerald Warden actually. So it is more of at least a semi-carry to even hard carry potential there. And again, Southeast Asian scene, they were really one of the first ones to run the Emerald Warden pick, and we've talked about that before too. So.
Well, they certainly love their Emerald Warden. They also love their Witch Slayer. This is like a Southeast Asian lineup 101, ladies and gentlemen. Poliwag, support Witch Slayer, kind of roaming around in Emerald Warden as a card carry. There's a reason why it's not that picked up that often in the international scene. I mean, it's strong, but there's flaws to it. You don't have much pushing power other than Poly. Emerald Warden's she's a decent carry, but she's weak in the sense that she doesn't farm as quickly as some others. And Witch Slayer support, I mean, the hero is great. It's a fantastic hero, but as a support, I just think it gets gimped too easily on levels. Now the Wild Soul picked up by Panny. This is the kind of strategy that I'm talking about with them. They've been running this for some time now. The Nymphoria Wild Soul. They usually run an off-lane Wild Soul. Maybe Suicide or short lane, doesn't really matter, but they like to lane him solo, from what I've seen. That doesn't mean they can't run at jungle, but I've seen I can't say his name.
Johannes some fan.
Jonas
some fan. Yeah, it's always bugged me.
Jonas some fan. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm gonna butcher that, but Jonas some fan. Yeah, he plays Wild Soul a lot. And then now the lock pool coming out, and Fade actually first picked up by Impunity. So.
I got to think that maybe screwed FiT a little bit, because you talk about the Nymphoria Fade combination. I wonder if Impunity maybe saw that even and just like, we're not going to let you get that combo. We're going to just pick up Fade for ourselves. So I wonder if Panny's a little bit taken back by that, but now we'll see how they follow up, of course. On their side, they could just as easily go with Draconis now. Because they could definitely still use that really hard range carry hero. And again, with this farming potential, we've seen how powerful he can be. You know, something like Draconis Plague Rider here, or Draconis Glacius, yeah. And there you go. It is going to be Glacius Draconis to finish it off for FiT. And so with Impunity, the last one to go. Obviously, really, I would think Plague Rider or Bubbles, but hey, maybe they'll just be like, we're going to go crazy now. We're going to go with that Rampage that you locked to finish it off here. But I definitely like the picks to finish for FiT.
Yeah, I think they're going to do... I was thinking to myself, I really hope they go Draconis as the strongest pick here. Plague Rider, kind of interesting pick there from Imp. But yeah, anyway, back to FiT's lineup. They're probably going to do, I'm guessing, some kind of aggressive tri-lane in the long lane with a Wretched Hag solo mid and a Wild Soul solo top. Now with Impunity, they finish their lineup with a Plague Rider. I'm not sure what they're going to do. Maybe a pseudo tri-lane bottom with Emerald Warden and a Plague Rider Suicide top? Not quite sure, so that's a little up in the air for me, but either way, I think we're going to have an aggressive game this game, I really do.
And remember, I don't know if it was actually the Southeast Asian team, but we did see that support Poliwag that one time.
Oh, yes,
in a tri-lane. I'm trying to remember who actually did that.
I think it was Orange, actually.
Yeah, that's why I think it was Orange, too, so maybe there's a possibility that we could see that even. Here from it is Ninja Boogie playing it though, so actually probably not. Ninja Boogie is more of a carry / very aggressive ganker, so that's definitely one of those cases. You look at the player name as well, and then lends to believe perhaps not, but yeah, I thought that was interesting. So I'm gonna have a vote to pause here real quickly to get things sorted out, but gonna be going right back in as Panny mentioned as well in the pregame interview. Of course, preparing even playing on a US West server against Orange Esports Malaysia to kind of get some practice just prior to this match, and so it is on a US West server, of course, and we are on a pause, so ping all won't really do too much right now to give you an idea, but once it comes out of the pause, I'll do a ping all and see so you guys can see you know, as far as the average latency goes for both of these sides. But you know, that's just that's the thing with the international competition. It's what you have to deal with, and it's good to see, you know, more teams like this. In the case of FiT, especially, of, you know, knowing that they're going to have to play on US West. So instead of, you know, bitching and moaning about it prior to it, and then, you know, making excuses, just simply practicing on it and skirmishing before, just to try to get prepared enough for it. So you got to respect that, definitely. So.
Yeah, that's definitely good preparation. And I think the pings actually between both these teams has got to be pretty damn even. Like probably sitting around 240-ish, 230. I'm guessing the Hellborn's team probably sitting around 220 to 240, and then the Legion team just a smidgen higher than that. But yeah, basically even ping. So it's good for them to practice on that. I know that the Southeast Asian teams play on US West a lot for certain competitions. Pretty much Orange always does. For all these competitions here in the international scene, so they're kind of used to it a little bit more than the Europeans, but yeah, I think it's pretty even.
And there we are, coming out of the pause. I'll do a quick ping on. It looks like, yeah, a little bit right. The impunity is slightly higher average, but still, it's for the most part pretty damn close. So, anyways, just getting that out of the way. But yeah, so seeing Draconis here for FiT, for better looking than you, that's awesome, because we did see the power of Cookies playing yesterday, as we talked about, by Clan Milk against Fnatic Raid Call, and just how quickly that farm adds up. But I will say a big part of that was because of the fantastic support that they had, stacking both the jungle and especially the Ancient Creeps as much as possible. So that's something that, of course, FiT will have to keep doing themselves, which, you know, Archie, Tiger, and Panny, both very good support players themselves, so I'm sure we'll definitely see that, but yeah, that's something to keep in mind. And also on top of that, Draconis is actually going to be the long lane, apparently. So I wonder how that may affect things, actually, when it comes down to both doing the Ancients and as well as especially doing the jungle. But, we have a possible exchange coming out. Zealstone is going to hit Emerald Warden right there. You see Draconis kind of running up, picks up his Q, actually pushes back Witch there. Witch in a lot of trouble. The auto attacks finishing him off. The final one from Draconis gets the Bloodlust kill. And a hell of a start for FiT as a result of that, especially with Draconis getting the Bloodlust. That was a big start for FiT.
I know. If you look right now, Miss Air on Witch Layer was at negative 300 gold per minute for a second. I just think it's funny. While Jonas a fan. Oh God, I'm so.
Just say
we'll
Jonas.
Jonas. All right. He was at a very inflated gold per minute there, but anyway, yeah. Witch Layer is. This is why I don't like him. I mean, right there, you see how susceptible he is at level 1, and now it's going to be even worse because he had died right there, and that stun is just so weak level 1, and yeah, I don't know. It's going to be hard. It's always hard to bounce back in a try-v-try situation when the other tri lane has already gotten Bloodlust, so we'll see if they can come back from any kind of deficit now that they've made for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, Draconis already finishing that Ring of Teacher, and again, especially in a try versus try matchup, that could be huge. A huge addition for your side. It's just those really small things, but they add up big time as the game progresses here. So Emerald Warden, now this is an advantage that Emerald Warden definitely has, being in a part of a trial lane, is those wolves, man. I mean, she can use those wolves frequently, and they will basically guarantee at least, well, they will hit 2 targets. So that is a lot of constant harassment. In fact, you see Fake gonna jump in 4 right here with the Burning Shadows. There's a Graveyard Set to follow it up. The wolves come out, and then 4 actually dropping quickly, but the Zealstone on the back end hitting Fade, and she will be forced to fall back. But it's showing right there, Impunity, they're gonna go aggressive here against FiT. They're not gonna let them get some strong positioning.
Well, I think Panny is going to reevaluate what his positioning was last time. I mean, he was really, really far up and had no business kind of lingering up there. So he's probably going to be a little bit more careful. And actually now Witch Layer getting gone on right here, and he will dive very, very easily to this tri-combo of stuns and slows and what have you. This is not looking good for them already. And right now you just see, I mean, Witch Layer has nothing to offer to a lane until at least he hits level 3 or 4, and that's just way too late for support heroes in a tri-lane.
Yeah, so again, a pretty bad start for Impunity, especially at the bottom lane. Again, only 2 minutes in, but still, it's very, very impactful. As far as the other lanes are concerned, we have Polywog Priest, of course, going up against Wretched Ag. And by the way, Sequence on Wretched Ag, he already picks up a regen rune up top, the first one to spawn. Bottles it up for that matter, so a good start it seems like he's having, as we have a 6-4 Polywog against an 8-3 Hag, who again just went for the rune right there. So it seems like Hag has that slight advantage over Ninja Boogie playing this Polywog Priest early on so far. Emerald Warden back to the bottom lane. He's going to use a Dragon Flame right there. The Burning Shadows was on the Zealstone just out of range of that hit. That should have been a kill, but Emerald Warden will barely sneak on out of there. Witch Layer now coming in a great Graveyard. But what is Fate doing staying around that long? She will end up falling as Panny, will get credit for the kill himself, turning that around with the auto attack. So, man, some questionable decision being made here from Impunity. Pawnee. It's so true. I definitely pulled out the Hani there. But yeah, so good turnaround for the Hellborn team. But yeah, you got to say, what was Impunity thinking right there?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I give this lane combination some slack, or at least, the mix-up of heroes here for Legion a little bit of slack. But, I mean, if you look at the lineup that they have, the Draconis and actually Emerald Warden getting gone on again, and look at all that damage. She's going to die again. Well, I shouldn't say really again. She's the first time dying. But this lane is dying again.
Yeah.
But then I think about it, Neophoria plus Glacius plus Draconis, holy crap, that's strong. Like, I didn't really think about it. They're all ranged, they all have slows and nukes. Like, oh man, that is just devastating.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's one of those cases, off the bat you don't necessarily think about it, but as we're seeing it progress now, only 3.5 really coming to the 4-minute mark. You already have 4 hero kills, all of them by this bottom lane. Then you look at the line, we're like, wait, that actually kind of makes sense. I mean, that's as you put it, a lot of things coming out, a lot of CC. Very, very difficult for Impunity to have to deal with the lane like that. So you got it's again, this is already such a horrible. What does Impunity do? They've already started off so slow here. Can they make some adjustments as far as lanes go, or did they just have to commit to this with where it's at?
They definitely need to leave. They need to have someone solo down here. Like, pick a hero, one hero. Just anybody has to solo. They are doing some good pulling here. I don't know if they actually counter-warded this. It doesn't look like it. It just was left unwarded. But the camp is double stacked and pulled now, so maybe that can help a little bit. But I mean, this lane is not going to win. They're not going to like get lucky and like, oh, we magically got a kill, unless they're just walking to the tower and then like maybe alt tab. But actually, mid having some action right here. The illusion's doing a lot of damage, but Polywog turning around with the tongue tie. He's getting very, very, very low though. I don't think those ticks are actually going to kill him, but he's going to walk face to me just fine. But yeah, this bottom lane, it's just not magically going to work out. They're going to have to do some roaming from Fade and Witch there. And actually, the lowest level in this tri-lane is the Emerald Warden, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's not good. Lady Ricardo, as we mentioned earlier, playing this Emerald Warden is not off to the best of starts here for Impunity. So that kind of leaves the last lane to talk about. I mean, this top side, it really, a lot of it has to do with, the other lanes have to be so successful, especially with the start in. Well, unfortunately, we already mentioned Polywog Priest. He's a little bit behind the hack. Plague Rider not doing too much better, at least in farm. At least, I mean, he's 15 and 13, so at least when it comes to creep score, I mean, it's actually looking pretty solid. You see right here, the positioning that he has is actually pretty good. He got a lot of harassment on the wild, so nearly even getting a kill, but, how much of an impact is that going to be? And again, the GPM isn't really all that up there. So all across the board for Impunity, really struggling here early on. And they're committing to kind of just sitting here at the bottom lane as well. Obviously, they haven't died for the last couple of minutes, which is the good news, but are they really maximizing their farm? Is Emerald Warden comparing to Draconis too well? Not so much. 20 and 4 Draconis and 9 and 4 Emerald Warden, so not too good.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. They actually had a chance to initiate on the Glaciers because they saw that in 4 left, but all 3 of them walking up there, what Draconis do? Oh, he just uses his Dragon Flame and pushes them all away. This is a really strong tri-lane, actually. I can't believe it that it hasn't been run before because it's so good. Wow, I'm kind of excited now. Yeah,
it's this is something different here being shown by FiT, not necessarily as Draconis, but as you put it, the tri-lane, and boy, is it working wonders here. We do see the Seal's not going to miss. The pushback on Emerald Warden is going to be down for the kill. No, it's not. And now Draconis put it up a little bit too far. Draconis will end up falling, so that's definitely a case. Johannes fan getting a little bit too cocky right there, going for the kill on Emerald Warden, and ended up getting trapped by even the creep wave. So just a good counter from Impunity, and that's a much, much needed kill. So if you're FiT, obviously you have a very comfortable lead here. And actually in the middle lane, the double damage. Polywog Priest is able to finish off Wretched Hag. The wards were even used, so I'm sure that did a good amount of damage. And looking pretty good all of a sudden for Impunity. In fact, Glacius now getting caught, and Glacius will fall. So just like that, in the matter of 30 seconds, really, 3 kills happening, and, well, Impunity making a solid comeback here.
Yeah, there's just some very, very poor positioning here from FiT. And actually, I mean, basically, when Draconis died there, he got double stunned with a tower beating on him for like a good 5 seconds. I mean, come on now. You can't just think you're Superman or something and sit in front of the tower like that. So yeah, he did get killed. I mean, they're still handily winning this. They have a lot of farm on this Draconis. He's just dipped a little bit under now, 300 gold per minute. So, but he was up there pretty high. But that was a very, very good kill there by Ninja Boogie in the mid lane. That's exactly what they need to do. Yeah. And hopefully, if he can just stay in the mid lane for his wards to be up again, maybe try another kind of kill. It's very hard. Obviously, you can't ward trap a hag and be successful because she's just going to blink out unless you use your grip on him as well. So if he can stay here, maybe put some pressure on this mid lane, force the supports to leave that bottom lane, and then maybe they can make a move on that with some kind of 3v2 situation.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they're going to have to do.
Well, we see, again, Ninja Boogie is sticking his ground. He has about 20 seconds left on that ultimate cooldown, so that is the key ability, of course, for Polywalk Priest. Another thing to mention, Draconis, again, going back to yesterday with Cookies playing it for Clan Milk, the build we talked about and how he likes to max out the Blazing Strikes, or Blazing Flight, excuse me. In this case, Draconis, being played by Johannes, a fan, he's actually going for his Q, the Dragon Flame ability. I do wonder if that maybe has a little bit to do with the fact that he is in a try versus try lane.
Yeah.
But you think that is the case?
Yeah, definitely. I don't think there's any point to max your what is it called, the Blazing Flight when you're in a tri lane, because you're going to want that nuking power when you're with two other nukers, especially the Nymphora who can just feed mana. So yeah, I definitely agree with him in leveling up the Dragon Flame there.
Yeah, so that's definitely what he's maxing out. You see off to the side, Glacius and Nymphora over here. They both have ward asides basically on top of one another here in this jungle. So again, Impunity doing a good job of at least getting some vision themselves to spot the aggressive Nymphora Glacius. But, you know, and that's perhaps a cue by FiT right there that very likely there is a ward here that has been placed by Impunity. So I wonder if we're going to see a revelation delivered in the near future and see that ward countered that was placed by Impunity, specifically Miss Air playing that Witch Slayer. But the pressure definitely continuing back and forth, obviously slowing down a bit since the beginning of this game, which they're taking an Ice Imprisonment there, but the Hounds will chase them off and going to be fine. FiT is actually in an interesting position. He needs to be careful that he doesn't get spotted here, because if he gets one stun, then he's probably going to die. In fact, that's exactly what I'm talking about. FiT is going to be spotted. There's nothing that she can do to get out of this. She will fall. You gotta, not the greatest positioning right there from FiT. And actually, Wretched Egg with the haste rune coming in. They're gonna, they need to be really careful here. They're gonna try to play very defensively, but Wretched Egg, they don't care about that tower. Gonna dive in completely. Witch Air takes the Thunder Scream. There's one kill happening. Now ports are coming in here from the Legion side, so they're gonna try to respond to this. Bat Blast even being used. Everyone, a lot of damage will end up falling to the Dragon Flame, but Draconis will go down. The Plague being used by Plague right there to make sure to finish him off. You see FiT coming back in, but just a little bit too late to pick up any more kills. So at least Impunity got Draconis taken out, but still, I think FiT came out on top there.
A lot of resources used though, and Jonah up there in the top lane that's gonna free him up to maybe push this, and he does have a level 3 bear, so he does have that demolish ability. But actually, a TP coming out from Emerald Warden to do any kind of prevention of that. But still, he's just gonna pound that bear right onto that defense tower. He doesn't care. He's tanking all this damage, but it's really losing hardly any life. So right there, you just see how tanky that bear can be.
Yeah.
And what happens if it dies? Oh, I'm just gonna resummon it. So. This is going to free up some time for the Wild Soul to get some good farm, who now has boots on both his bear and himself, as well as the Mystic Vestments, and he is in that ultimate form. So he is quite tanky at 1,400 life, as well as the magic armor there from the Vestments.
Yeah, you know, I was mentioning that earlier with the Plague Rider being in the lane, and to Plague Rider's credit, you do see the lack of farm on Wild Soul to an extent. Now, it's only at 225 gold per minute. It is starting to go up a little bit. You even see him going to that jungle. As you mentioned, he has a level 3 bear, so could possibly push a tower here in the near future. But Plague Rider overall, I own, it looks like, playing Plague Rider here for Impunity. Did a fairly decent job. He himself is actually the top farmer on the team. Just under 270 gold per minute. He sees right now level 9, with the likes of his Polywalk Priest teammate also being a level 9. So levels advantage there as well, coming off for Impunity. And Emerald Warden obviously being at the top line now. Oh, he's going to get dove on by Wretched Egg. Are there going to be any ports? Put in the silence shut out. No ports happening yet. So Emerald Warden left to fight for himself. It's just not going to be enough. He'll eventually fall. The double damage, Wretched Hag just way too much to handle, as well as Boo Boo being there. Of course, with Wild Soul. Now this tower going to be aggressively pushed. We do see Polywalk Priest coming in, though. He does have a ward trap. So we'll see if he can maybe get some positioning using the Electro Jolt, but Wretched Hag kind of diving in a little bit. Again, we'll see if any ports are going to be used. There's the invulnerability. Oh, nice deny by Ninja Boogie right there. He's going to get chopped. He puts he can ward trap this. I know he's not going to go for it with the bear there. It's just not worth the risk. So Wretched Hag will be fine, but great deny by Ninja Boogie.
Yeah, I don't think he would have enough for the jolt as well as the wards right there, so I think Hag would have been able to just wait to blink out eventually, so good decision there. Yeah, it's a really amazing, the fact that he was able to deny that between the bear pounding in and a double damage range attack, so very, very excellently timed there by Ninja Boogie.
Yeah, that's big. Again, the tower is still dead, so there's a downside to that, but of course big that he's able to take away that big gold gain, of course, for the Hellborn side. But speaking of big gold gain, Draconis is starting to recover once again. 313 gold per minute now. He's got Steam Boots, Ring of the Teacher, and actually an early Mighty Blade here. So just like Cookies once again, very likely going to see that Shrunken Head as his first item of choice here, as he's on his way to the jungle. But also, as we talked about, a big part of that farm for Draconis was the fact of a lot of stacks in his own jungle, the ancient stacks. You see right now, I'm looking all across the board, I don't see any stacks currently in any of the camps, especially even the Ancients. I mean, we do see Glacius coming over here, so I wonder if he's going to wait and maybe start stacking these. But it's a little bit delayed, but still, you would like to hope at least that FiT will start getting on top of that, making sure to really increase Draconis' farm, as we definitely saw yesterday. So.
Yeah, and actually a very good Sentry Ward there, Ward of Revelation placed there by Panny with the heads up. He knew that Fade was level 6, and actually it is going to spot him, so they will have that information. But now Fade's ultimate is probably going to fade, get it, and now all 5 heroes are pushing this mid lane, and I don't know if FiT really has the means to defend us right now, as there's nobody really here. There is a Glacius. He is going to hit by the Wolf from Emerald Warden, but he will just back up. And it looks like Impunity is just going to keep continuing, marching on here. The wards are being placed there by Ninja Boogie, and yeah, they're pursuing this tier 2 tower.
Well, you got Wild Soul counter pushing that top lane. You also have at the bottom lane Draconis doing his thing. So, Hellborn team in FiT, they're basically saying, you know what, you can have that secondary middle tower. We're going to counter push your 2 other lanes. So, an interesting decision being made here. We do look at the top tower. Look at that Boo Boo again. Just so much damage. He's almost competing right now with the whole team of the Legion side. So, they get the tower kill. Port's already happening, though, at least in Emerald Warden. So, they will save the tower. It looks like it's just out of deny range. As actually, 169 live. The next catapult, it is going to put in deny range. And so now Emerald Warden can deny this. In fact, it looks like she is going to, as we see right there. So they do push another tower, but it is denied by our Legion team Impunity. As we see one more. Okay, there. We see right there. So I don't know. How would you say, who came out on top there?
They got 2 towers. Oh, definitely.
I guess Impunity, yeah.
Definitely Legion. Yeah, no question at all. They did get the tower to 9. That's really hurts for as far as having the ability to TP to help somebody, because they don't even have this top tier tower. So and it's actually full HP. So if they do decide to push it and they're getting pursued by a gank or anything like that, if they try to run away, there's no one that can port anywhere even close to them to help them out. So in that regard, it's annoying. But yeah, they did close the gap or the gold lead. They're still trailing, but it wasn't as bad as it was before. It was at like 3,400, I want to say. So now it's almost getting close to 2,000, so yeah. But that definitely helps. I mean, really, really helps.
You see in the background here at the bottom lane, we got Fade actually going through the trees. Of course, has his ultimate activated, so able to walk on through, but now running back forward. Will be in range. Polywar Priest double damage. Oh, nice X-Turn to Wretched Hag. The Plague with the back. That's going to do a lot of damage. Actually pounding it to fall right there. Wretched Hag going to be picked off. Great coordination coming out from Impunity. And an excellent Plague used right there from Plague Rider. And now they're going to aggressively push this tower as Polywalk Priest. He has level 2 wards coming up in a matter of seconds here. So there we go. Expect the wards. No, they're not going to use wards actually. They're going to push this. And then, yeah, probably use wards at the next tower. So, man, Impunity, that was a huge sequence of events right there. And they're going to put an aggressive push at the bottom lane now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're doing really well, but I just think FiT's kind of playing really, really sloppily right now. Getting a little bit too excited. They're very, very poor positioning in these fights, and you got to position yourself really, really well against all these stuns. I mean, Witchslayer is now level 5, and especially when he gets that silver bullet, it's going to be even harder, because that's when Witchslayer really starts to shine. He did have a very, very rough early game, but they're bouncing back into this somehow. And they're going to do really. They have a very, very strong mid-game team. Very, very strong. Mm-hmm. So right now is about the time that they should shine.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, Polywalk Priest especially, he looked like early on he was a little bit behind. Runes, of course, were being controlled by Wretched Hag, and, when it came to Creep Farm, he was definitely behind, but he got those wards, and as we see so often when Polywalk Priest starts putting out the pressure, applied pressure to that tower, and he's been very useful for his team, as has been Plague Rider. So I think Ion and Ninja Boogie here have been huge factors for Impunity, especially with how unsuccessful that bottom lane was with the tri-lane. of course, from the Impunity team. And you see Fade right here. He's going to stun Draconis. No, he is not. He's right on a Ward of Revelation, though. Oh, Fade, you're in a lot of trouble. Will the support get here in time? The Glacial Downpour going to do too much damage, but did he buy enough time for his team? He's seen Nymphora. Nymphora most likely going to be picked off, as yes, she will. So it ends up being a 1-for-1 exchange. Poor's going to be in the middle lane because of big dive happening on Emerald Warden, but Wildsoul needs to be very careful right here. He runs right into Plague Rider, who has a Contagion Nuke ready to go, but it looks like Wildsoul will be able to squirt him out of there, as this tower should be denied. Yes, very good denied. All 3 tower kills have been denied here now by Impunity, and that definitely adds up, including their towers that they've gotten killed. They've all killed, actually, and gotten credit for it. So that's actually a pretty big deal there, too.
It's a very huge deal. It really mitigates a lot of gold that you could get from the actual hero kill, or sorry, tower kill. But they actually do get another one, so a lot of towers falling throughout this game very early on for both teams, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I actually it was kind of interesting that Fade, I feel like he could have just Burning Shadow stunned the Glacius while he was ulting, and he would have prevented a lot of damage. He went ahead and stunned the Nymphora instead, but they were able to get the kill on him, so that's good.
Underrating the power of the Glacial Downpour. That's the last thing you want to do.
It does so much damage.
Yeah. It's all right there. I mean, he could not get away, and it just kept doing damage to the point of killing him. So, yeah, probably not the best of decisions there from Fade, but at least they got the counter kills. We saw Wildsoul at the bottom lane, so he's going more of a, by no means is he rushing that Mocker Brilliance, which we do see from time to time. But you see he's got boots on himself and the bear. In fact, Ghost March is on the bear. He's got his Mystic Vestments, Ring of the Teacher, but he is saving up quite a bit now. He has about 2,700 gold, so I think he's going to be saving up for the Sword of the High now, and then eventually going for that Mocker Brilliance. But going for some smaller items here and there, like I just said. Before, at least. But they're going to actually clean up some triple stacked Ancients now, too.
Yeah, that's good for them. Good. They need to be stacking pretty much this whole game. But yeah, Wildsoul, whenever you lane him, it's a lot more appropriate to get some of those build-up items instead of that straight mock. Because you're probably going to be doing some counter-pushing, and we have seen him actually do that this entire game. And when you do that, you can't just sit in the lane with literally no items waiting for that naked mock, because if someone TPs, they're just going to decimate you. So you have to have some kind of build-up items, and that's what he's doing. I love his items right now. The boots, the vestments. I'd even like to see him go Striders before the Sword of the High, but now he actually does pick up his Sword of the High. He's actually farming very, very well right now, 350 gold per minute, so good job there by Probusk.
Yeah, very good job indeed. Other big item pickups, Polywog Priest has a portal key he just got purchased. And then on top of that, you got Plague Rider just finishing a Shaman's Headdress. He already has an Astrolabe and Steep Boots on top of that, so wouldn't be surprised to see a Barrier Idol picked up here. And of course, as always, really pretty much every game, very powerful item to have for your team. So that could be a very smart choice there. Sword of the High has been purchased, as you talked about on Wildsoul, I believe. So we'll have that. 3,300 gold on Draconis, so he definitely has enough for his Shrunken Head. And in fact, there we go. Goes back to the well and purchases the Shrunken Head to finish it off. So there's a strong start for Draconis and a very deadly item now that Impunity will have to face off against. And that will screw this Legion team up pretty big time. So you look at their makeup. I mean, Emerald Warden, obviously as this game progresses, a lot more physical damage is going to be coming out, or at least that's the idea. But yeah, if Draconis is able to successfully get up that Shrunken Head, which isn't the hardest thing in these team fights, that could be very difficult for the lead team. By the way, though, in the middle lane, they're going to jump Wretched Egg, and Wretched Egg will fall right there. You see the Dragonfire, Dragon Flame going to come out, will get the kill onto Fade right there. So at least a good counter kill from Draconis, but an excellent jump for the leading team. But here we go, Nymphora porting in with Glacius. Polywog Priest now in a lot of trouble. He cannot skirt on out of the very trying to use those bottle charges. Not going to be enough, though. Even the Glacial Downpour used by the Legion team as well. So, or the Hellborn team, excuse me. So ended up working out a little bit better for FiT there in the end.
Yeah, I'm right there. You just see the immense power of Nymphora. I mean, that the teleport there with the good heads up there from Panny, able to get that kill on the Polywog by TPing Glacius right behind him, and you know, good communication to Yonasum fan there playing that Draconis as he pursued him, and they were able to get a good easy kill there on Ninja Boogie. So yeah, I just love Nymphora, and Panny executes him really, really well with that ultimate.
Mm-hmm. And look at Glacius, too. I mean, Glacius farm, man. He's got Striders and Astrolabe, and he just picked up a major totem. So,
yeah.
Glacius being played by Archie Tiger. He's actually getting by pretty well off. Not too often we see Glacius this farmed, especially 22 minutes into the game. So, about 175 gold per minute will definitely get you that. Speaking of the gold per minute chart, I mean, I've definitely had that up for a little bit now, and it does continue to be more in favor of FiT, but it's not really taking off by any means. Draconis is on top, 385 GPM. Then you got, of course, Wildsoul following that, as there's the Sword of the High delivery. and on its way to a Mocker Brilliance. But then it goes to play going on Polywalk Priest over for the Legion team. But Emerald Warden, again, a horrible start really for Emerald Warden, but she has somewhat recovered up to 280 GPM now. She's actually finished her Firebrand as her first item of choice here. So what do you think of that? What do you think of the Firebrand choice?
I think it's okay as long as she goes for a Geometer's Bane. Geometer's Bane is going to cancel out several effects here from the Hellboard side that are annoying, like the Haunt, the Freeze, the Ice Imprisonment. Actually, FiT gets a good Burning Shadows down here onto a number of heroes. The Shrunken Head is activated. Penny goes down immediately, though. So does Grit playing that Fade, and a good Plague Ultimate coming out. It's going to bounce between Hag and Wild Soul, but it does very minimal damage. And actually, it goes back to sequence. So Hag does die there. TPing out, coming out from the Ninja Boogie. Can he make it? He does make it. So actually a good turn of events there from Impunity. It looked like it was going to be much worse, but that Plague Ultimate doing a lot of damage.
Well, the thing with that was interesting because Wretched actually blinked into the team rather than away to try to save herself. She blinked in, though, to get off my guess was a Sonar Scream, and maybe even her Bat Blast. Wasn't fully paying attention to that, but that result, that like guaranteed the death, and it also did help it bounce back even to Wild Soul, as we saw. So, yeah, probably not the best choice right there. In the end, I think you can argue that Impunity came out on top, especially with the kill on Draconis on top of that. So that worked out very well for them. It was a 3-for-2 exchange overall, I believe, as Ninja Boogie did end up getting out of there. In fact, he may get a kill on a Boo Boo now, as you see that giant frog right there. But no, he's not going to choose to tongue tie. In fact, we do hear Poor coming in, I thought, at least.
Yeah, she canceled it, actually.
Okay, yeah, she did. So they thought about it, but I think Witchslayer snuck in there at the last second. Maybe that scared them, so decided to cancel it. But so yeah, you talked about Emerald Warden, the Firebrand pickup. So if she goes for a Geometer's Bane, perhaps, but even then, not too sure if that's the best choice.
Oh no, I think Geometer's Bane is okay. I don't think Shrunken Head is necessarily the best item in this game for her, because that Boo Boo late game is going to be just pounding so much physical damage onto him. Now it is very good against the Mock of Brilliance pickup. But I think it's fine to go for Geometer's Bane here.
Yeah. All right, Draconis picking up a Blessed Orb, by the way. So he has options from there. Of course, FiT has been doing this pretty aggressively, and obviously that's a sign of a good FiT. And on that note, she has Striders as well as even an Arcana now, so on her way to a Hellflower. But yeah, she's been using this ultimate, is where I was getting at, constantly, it seems like, to go through the trees, kind of scout out up in front, and give information here to the Legion team. And you see right there the Hellborn team coming in, so we got Impunity actually falling back. Emerald Warden is just farming it up here in the middle lane in the meantime, and that GPM does continue to rise. She's getting closer and closer to 300 gold per minute now, as she does also have a 2,200 gold pulled up. So there we go with the Blessed Orb purchase. So believe it is going to be Geometer's Bane, as Polywalk Priest, speaking of pulling up gold, he has about 2,600, now 2,700. Again, he already has that portal key, so we'll see where he goes now. Something like a Shrunken Head himself could be very powerful, or even a tablet route, but options for Polywalk Priest. So
yeah, she has a lot of options, actually. I even think something like just a Sheep Stick would be great on her. But yeah, probably is going to go for that Shrunken Head, as she just picked up the Mighty Blade. Yeah, FiT is actually doing a surprisingly good job. Very interesting set of items there, too. I don't know if you mentioned that, but the Arcana and then Striders, Mana Battery. So just getting the basics there. Getting the basics there for FiT.
Well, on his way to a Hellflower. And, obviously still ways to go, only farming 120 gold per minute. But that is the great thing about Hellflower. In fact, I was having another discussion. It seems like I have a discussion about this quite often with this, one of the more popular items to talk about, just because of how powerful Hellflower is. And the big thing that's brought up is because of the buildup of the item. The 3 Arcanas that it costs. But then even the Arcanas is split into 3 smaller items. So it's just such a powerful build-up in that sense, and having each individual Arcana just does so much for really any hero in the game. It adds the attack damage, the mana regen, the intelligence, of course, and then the attack speed even on top of that. So, yeah, just having at least that first Arcana, it's definitely big here for FiT, despite her overall lack of farm. And, well, remaining to be very squishy, but again, that's what happens when you're underfarmed. And a very aggressive push, though, coming up from the Legion team at this top lane. However, Kongor is being attempted. You see that they're definitely aware. They are porting back now, so there goes a tower. They're trying to get here as soon as possible, and it just may work because of that reaction. They are going to be spotted by the Ward of Sights here, but Polywar Priest doesn't have a level 3 wards. Still level 2, unfortunately, but he has a portal key, of course, ready to go. Kongor dropping quickly. Are they going to go balls to the wall here? It's going to be close. no, Congo's going to go down. Wild Soul will pick it up. Now, if I'm the Legion team, you definitely want to think about perhaps just falling back, saying screw it, but they're a little bit spread out here, and this is going to get really dangerous. Witch there going to get caught out. Boo Boo with the auto attack missing, though, and actually a good Hex coming up from Witch right there. Excellent Graveyard Sound on top of that. He does get slowed by the Dragon Flame slow, but he's just out of range, and he is going to be able to buy enough time. Wow, excellent getaway right there. I thought for sure FiT was maybe going to get 1 or 2 kills, but they did not, but still, Conquer kill big there for FiT.
Yeah, I'm really happy to see the composure there from Impunity. Actually, a lot of teams will kind of rush in there and just kind of go crazy when they see Conquer very, very low like that. But it was good for them to understand the fact that it was already dead, nothing we can do about it, let's just cut our, let's not get crazy here and feed when we don't have to.
Yeah.
So they were able to get away, and of course FiT was trying to pursue as far as they could. Weren't able to get anybody, though. So Boundai now picked up on Glacius for counter-warding purposes, I'm sure, as well as that, being able to reveal that Fade, who's kind of a nuisance now. Ultimate isn't level 2 yet, but it's still kind of annoying for their team. But the only problem with this game right now for Impunity is that you got to think whenever you're against a Wild Soul, you have to kind of gauge if you're down a little bit, you're down a lot. If you're up a little bit, it's probably even. It's just kind of like a 6th hero almost. It really is. Especially when you have sort of an early to mid-game lineup when you're playing against a Wild Soul that has, the great farm he is. He's the top farm in the game at 408 gold per minute, 2-0-1 score. Especially that Maka Brilliance is really going to hurt these supporting casts here of the Impunity team.
Yeah, you said it. I didn't believe you initially, but you're right. I mean, 400-plus gold per minute all of a sudden for Wild Soul. And obviously that Maka Brilliance has been a big part of that. He's gone Abyssal Skull since then, which is actually... as I've always said, it's such an underrated item, and good to start seeing that a lot more. So a good pickup here by Wild Soul, I should say. And, of course, he also has that Token of Life on top of that. But, yeah, I mean, if that is the case, how you're saying that, if you're down by a little, you're down by a lot, well, I guess our Legion team may be down by a lot then, because it's about a 2,600 gold lead and a 4,700 experience lead here in favor of the Hellborn team. So time, you can almost argue, is even running out here for Impunity, because it's not just Wild Soul. It is a Draconis over there as well, right, who is just getting maximized farm. Again, we talked about that Blessed Ord purchase, and he, I guess, has another 28 and really 2,900 gold saved up here and counting. So it's definitely closing here, and you see even a Shrunken Head purchased by a Wretched Hag on top of that, adding insult to injury. So you got to kind of wonder, when is that timing going to be here from Impunity, or are they just going to kind of try to keep playing it out? We got a Shrunken Head now purchased on Polywog Priest just finished. Is that the key item, or are they going to still wait for more? We'll see. Well,
it's going to be hard. I mean, Shrunken Head purchased on Hag. They have the token as well as a full Shaman's Headdress on the Wild Soul. Draconis now finished his Nullstone. It's on the courier there, going to be delivered right now. So they have all the item pickups that they really need on FiT, as well as the token to work with. So it's going to be a really hard fight for Impunity. They really have to position themselves perfectly, and actually they have to kill a hero immediately before the fight even starts, with this kind of lineup that they have, with a lot of bursts from Witchlayer's Bullet, as well as the Fade. So, wow, and actually, very interesting pickup from Emerald Warden. Did you see that? He went for the lifesteal.
What's it, Hungry Spirit? Okay,
right,
so
yeah.
I guess I'm assuming that's going to turn into a Whispering Helm here.
Yeah, I've never seen that, by the way.
It is different. What do you think actually, hold that thought. No, Emerald Warden, they're going into a trap. It's a tarp. We see the Dragon Flame going to come out right there from Draconis. He activates the ultimate with the Shrunken Head. Look at how much damage Draconis is doing.
Oh my God.
That is just absolutely absurd, ladies and gentlemen. Hatchery coming out. This tower is going to be easily pushed. He had a double damage rune on. No surprise why. That was, oh my God. He just activated that Cataclysmic Assault, and there was nothing that Impunity could do right there. Absolutely nothing, because it was that on top of the Shrunken Head. And with the DD Rune, that was really... obviously, he had good team support, but Draconis was no doubt the majority of the damage right there. This middle tower now also going to fall at the base, and that could have done it for Impunity right there, if not already. We see the Rax now going to start taking the pressure. Plague Rider and Emerald Warden, they cannot resurrect. Plague Rider even used his Plague Goo, apparently. I didn't even see that go off. But so that's on cooldown. So even if when he comes back up, you want to be able to use that. So both the racks are going to be destroyed here in the middle lane. And the Legion team just hasn't done any damage other than Boo Boo, who they may actually kill right here. No, but the Dragon Flank goes out. And look at Polywog Priest is going to fall, actually. just trying to kill Boomer right there, and Draconis is running up again. He does have that Cataclysmic Assault once again. Will he activate it? Yes, he will. He's going head-to-head with Emerald Warden with a little bit of support right there. Regideck jumps in, goes for a kill, which he cleans up. Now falling back, of course, Shrunken Head has been activated. You've seen him for going to be picked up, and Draconis squirting out of there. So FiT, obviously overstaying their welcome a little bit, but we already have GG Wellplayeds being called, in fact. And so I'm guessing we're going to have that concede vote coming out and passing in the very near future here. But, yeah, I can't blame Impunity by any means, especially after what just happened right there. Pretty good sign that, well, I think Draconis is a little bit too farmed all of a sudden.
I think Draconis is going to get picked up a lot after the series that we've had yesterday and then today. And it's just a combination of things. He has a lot of nuking power. He has a lot of damage over time abilities. His ultimate makes him such a huge hard game or hard late game carry. We saw right there. Does it actually? I feel like it makes his model even bigger because when I saw him use his Shrunken, he had the DD, he popped his ultimate. He looked like a big.
No, FiT. Sorry.
He looked like a big friggin' dragon. I mean, it was scary. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot more dragon play. Also Wild Soul. I mean, Probusk there played a very, very great game in the laning phase. He was up against the Plague Rider, which is actually a very, very hard lane for him because Plague Rider has the deny as well as that hard nuke. So he was able to hold his own there and do very good this entire game. So props to Probusk as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that was that looked all around all sorts of good there for FiT. As we talked about, this is definitely a team that maybe doesn't get as much recognition as they deserve here, and better looking than you. And after that impressive Game 1 performance, maybe with the way the series finishes, if it does finish in their favor, maybe that will start coming a little bit more. But man, Draconis, that hero again yesterday, today. That's obviously a hero. He just got very recently introduced on the competitive scene as far as tournament rules go, and I definitely believe what you say, that he's very likely going to be a hero that a lot more teams are going to start really picking up now and starting to at least being a part of that picking phase, because obviously I wouldn't be surprised to see he starts doing blind bans even on that hero. It's just ridiculous what he can do. So on that note, of course, that does do it for game number 1 here between FiT and Impunity. FiT coming out on top. They're now up 1-0 here in this best of 3. So does Impunity have what it takes to make a comeback? Maybe it does start with that Draconis, who they locked as the Legion team first, by the way. It's good to reiterate that. So keep that in mind going into game number 2. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens. On that note, I'm going to wrap up this game and move on to the next one as soon as possible. So stay tuned, guys. Breaking CBK, joining me is Trough Mador. Game number 2 coming up next.